If I sit here and wait for the noise to stop, I'll probably sit here until I'm gray. Hi, it's Juliana of Aloysius Clan, a system of 20 altars, and we document our pregnancy journey, mental health, and anything else that comes up in our life. Keep watching.
I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings, but now I shine with your reflection on me.
This is going to be a much lighter video than the last few videos that we have been posting, but that's okay because we want to show every facet of life, and it's not always bright and sunny. Sometimes it's dark and stormy. However, we're gonna go with sunny today because this is all about pregnancy today and some other little tidbits that I'm probably gonna throw in there. So I just wanna first say that in my 23rd week, which I'm in right now, it has been the most interesting, miraculous experience of connection because I watched some documentary recently about babies and toddlers knowing when their mom is not paying attention to them, or if their mom is serious and what that does to them, and how they do everything that they can to get the mom's attention. And so I'm noticing that with my baby, kicks are happening very frequent, and it's usually when I'm like not thinking about the baby or like totally occupied with something, even though it's hard not to think about the baby. But when I'm like very occupied in something, I'll notice like a kick will come because they know that I'm gonna put my hand there to feel obviously what's happening and send love. So it's so amazing how we're already having such a bond with connection, especially when I speak to the baby and I say things like, I love you, I can feel you in there, or I hope you're comfortable, or any type of conversational anecdote that I'd like to say, because I definitely want to start with communication early, like even now when the baby's in the womb. I'm going to continue that obviously after birth, but I'm noticing that there's kicks as soon as I speak as well, which is so absolutely amazing. If you're not feeling any types of kicks, please don't feel like you're missing out on something. However, please do not follow some of these articles that I've been reading saying like, oh, put cold or hot temperature on your stomach, or shine a light on your stomach, or anything like that. That sounds like you're treating your child like a circus monkey. Like, I get you want to feel your child and I get you want to know everything's okay, but you don't want to do something to startle the child just so you can feel okay. Like, that's kind of selfish. Also in these articles, I'm seeing a whole bunch of any drop of a hat, oh, call your doctor, all this fear projection that they're putting in. You don't have to call your doctor for every single thing. First of all, the Western society has placed doctors in place to put fear and control and completely medicalize the entire spiritual birthing experience that was of the Eastern indigenous way. So I'm not saying that you should never call your doctor if you're choosing to have a doctor. I'm not, but if you're choosing to have one, try to use your instincts or meditate and practice getting in touch with your instincts so you can get in touch with the child that's inside of you. Since we're on the topic of things that I've been learning, this goes out to the parents that already have their children with them out in the world. If your child is triggering you in any sort of way, that actually means that there's something that needs to be resolved within you. So if you love the child unconditionally through the trigger or through any type of emotion that the child is bringing upon you, it definitely helps to heal the repressed emotion within the parent. If you can master this, it is a huge leap into higher dimensional parenting. Also, we live in a world with obviously iPads being the first thing that a lot of people see a bunch of little children with in their hands instead of playing outside or things from the past. Instead of looking at the technology as ruining the child, we should transmute this thought and look at technology being a miraculous addition to the child. The only reason why it is not so good is because there are a lot of programmers out there trying to negatively program the child since they know that they are on these tools. What needs to happen is there needs to be more positive programmers programming positive things into the child. Until that happens on a large scale, it's really up to the parent to really pay attention to their children and notice what types of habits they're picking up on from watching certain things and what things that they're saying after watching certain things. Certain shows that even are catered to children, because there's a lot of, believe it or not, things that need to be decoded in these programs, and the parent should be paying a lot more attention instead of just kind of sending them off to these devices just to get some me time, which I get me time is very important, but you should try to balance that me time with also paying attention or having an ear like feet across the room if you're around the child while they're doing these things, to pay attention to what's happening with them. Now, I know I am still pregnant, and people are probably wondering, like, what are they even talking about? They don't even have their child yet. Well, technically, I've been around a lot of moms with their children. I have done a lot of observation. I have done a lot of study. As you can hear, I'm giving you information that I have studied. I also have received uploads while being around these parents from Spirit to give them a little bit of insight on what may or may not be causing certain things to arise. Going back to the triggering from the child to the parent, if a child triggers you, you are supposed to saturate that space with love for yourself and the child instead of saturating it with anger or ghosting. Because those two things, anger or ghosting, leaves the child feeling super invalidated. And one of the best things that I have learned is, instead of a timeout in these moments or in any type of moment where you feel like the child is tumultuous, you should really have a time in. That is when you need to embrace them even more and figure out what is the root that's causing them to be this way. Another important key to this is, if your child expresses something to you, please never place any guilt on them. You're literally piling one of the most heaviest emotions on top of an emotion that they're trying to express. And with that being said, the child will stay stuck in their feeling with the pile of guilt that you've already put on them, and nothing ever gets resolved. As a parent, it is your responsibility to accept whatever feeling your child is bringing to you. Another reason why I feel very comfortable even sharing any of this is because I've honestly had a connection with my baby 9 months before I was even pregnant. They came to me in dreams, gave multiple messages, and so with the connection that keeps growing, I feel like I'm being led to share this with anyone who may need it. Something else that I have learned is that you have to disconnect to upgrade, which it makes so much sense because Spirit has disconnected me from social media for 5 months, and I do feel like I received an upgrade during that time, and I'm still in my upgrade right now. All of the heavy topics or whatever things that you may see me talking about, I really truly believe is a part of this limitless mode that the baby is already in and trying to get me into, to make sure that I release every single aspect of weight so that way it's not going into the parenting. I have to match my vibration with the vibration of where the baby is at, and I'm so happy that I'm on this journey. Now, for my schooling plan, it's actually going to be an unschooling plan. Yes, you heard me correctly. I will not be putting my child in school, and I will not be doing homeschool. Unschooling is all about doing whatever the child wants to do, but as long as they are learning something. And so this insinuates that they are learning what they absolutely want to be learning. Their interest level is going to be way higher because they are actually interested in it. And it is something where they can create their own schedule without feeling forced or controlled to do something. The school systems are pretty much like prisons, and they keep the child in this controlled environment where they have to learn like everyone else, they have to do things like everyone else, and it's almost a robotic type of repetitive programming instead of having the child naturally succeed into what their strong suit is. A lot of those things that are in school are unnecessary to everyday life, and we are in a school of life in general. And so the school system limits that. And we should be moving into a limitless nature aspect of living. Now, with unschooling, people probably often ask, well, what about basic math or reading or all of those things? Well, when the child is dabbling in different interests and learning different skill sets from their choice, then they know exactly what they want to do in their life. And with that being said, once they have that under their belt of what they want to do and they know exactly the career choice that they want, then they'll know what types of classes they need to take that are directed towards the career that they want. If they do need math, reading, or anything of the sort, they'll know which classes to take that can better help them advance in that. So in this regard, everything is exactly how it should be for them without feeling any type of control. That word is something that is so simple, but so important not to have anyone feel, especially a child, that is literally limiting their natural way of being. And that does not mean you do not have rules or discipline in place. Of course, you will still have some sort of a structure, but there will be a balance to that structure. On that note, I think we will end here. Until next time, just breathe. See you.